All right, so I was visiting the local geriatric hospital the other day, which is a great hospital, but I have a real issue with this one part of their experience. They have this revolting bastard of a parking machine that sits at the very entrance of the parking, and it's terrible ergonomic design. It's just basically a chunk of fucking sheet metal with no real clear instructions on it. It doesn't acknowledge when you do anything. Like I stuck my Visa card in it, and it just sits there staring at me like, okay, is this actually doing something? So here's the problem. You got a geriatric hospital. This is, at best case scenario, the people driving through this are, that aren't me, are 70 years old. And they're going there for some sort of test. At worst case scenario, they're starting to experience symptoms of the onsets of dementia. So you start this whole thing to get into the parking lot. You're confronted by this prick of a parking machine that is so poorly designed and actually asks you to pay money before you go there. So here's what happens, and I've watched it because there's a convoy of old people sitting in big old fucking SUVs just dreading. It's like Squid Games. It's like, this is my turn to go up to this machine. So you go up to this thing and they park, of course, as close as they can because the machine's not leaning forward. It's not giving you anything, right? It's not giving you a fucking inch. So you pull up to this thing and you see these old people, they're either fumbling for loonies and toonies in their purse or they're trying to stick their damn Visa card in this thing. And again, it doesn't give you any sort of indication it's doing something. And because of that, the next thing they do is they get out of their car. But the problem is because they park so close to the machine because it's not leaning towards them, they're trying to squeak out between a nothing gap. Then, of course, they have to close their car door and squeeze themselves between this fucking machine and their car. And now they're too close to read anything. It's basically...
And then it's like running the gauntlet trying to get there before the gate closes.
It is. So they get their stuff in and suddenly the gate goes up. And then they have to, of course, reverse that entire action to get back in their car, worried that the thing's going to go down and guillotine them. And it's like, I figured there's only two things that could make this experience worse. One would be a powerful strobe light that would go off in their eyes as they're trying to pay for this fucking thing. And followed by a very, very loud countdown, right? That starts the minute the arm goes up. Just to, why not start your doctor's appointment by shitting your pants?
Well, and that's the funny thing too, right? Because the people that are going there are going to the geriatric center to be tested.
They're not going for a back rub.
No, they're going to be tested for diseases that affect
skills.
Yeah.
Cognitive skills. Yeah. And the first thing you put in front of them is a fucking Rubik's Cube of a machine.
Maybe it's like a test.
Maybe. Listen, I think, quite honestly, the people who are responsible for designing that machine, I would strangle them in their sleep if I knew who the fuck they were.
Yeah, and I think that's that sort of like a good example of silos in an organization where the division that's empowered to purchase those services, from an outside vendor, has is not thinking about who the customer actually is.